It's that time, y'all. It's that time. It's that time again. You know what it is. Soul Session Sundays. Let's talk with your boy DJ Baby Choc right here on Power 104.9. Welcome to our listeners. Welcome to our new listeners. Um, as you know, whether new listeners don't know, but I always give a brief description of what the show is all about. So the show is basically about me giving uh, any and every one that I interview their flowers. Hopefully, one day we might get some, people that's well known out in the world for doing what they do, which is a job to me. That's their job, but they're on that level of being on TV or whatever they might be doing. But then you have the little, no, I'm not going to say little, but I'm going to say the really the unknown that's doing justice as well in what they're doing. So I just want to give everybody their flowers, and also I structured this show because you just don't know everything about a person. When you meet somebody, the first thing that you see is when you meet them. Like in my field, I'm a DJ, but I'm more than just a DJ. But if anybody would say, well, how do you know Choc? Oh, Choc, he's a DJ. There's a lot more that goes on with me than just DJing. So that's the structure of the show, and I reach out to people that I know that I just met in certain situations. Excuse me, a little tongue twisted. And we rock out. We rock out. So today's guest, um, one of my homies, LJ, DJ LJ, brought him to my attention. So once again, LJ is a DJ who's also going to be interviewed on a further show. But he said, "Yo, man, check out my man. Check out Radio Raheem." I said, "All right, I'm gonna check him out." And what drew me to him from the clips that I saw was he was DJing on vinyl. 45s, y'all. 45s. Now, that young generation, I know y'all just getting into the vinyl coming back. Yeah, I call them vinyl. I call them records, but the correct term is vinyl. But to me, they're records. 45s, 33. It's a good thing. So I started from records, and I so okay, here's a brother that's doing it with the 45. So called them up, we linked up, and now we here. You know what I'm saying? So, Rod, you on that line, man? You on that line?
Yeah. I'm here. I'm here. Thank you for having me, DJ Chuck. Really appreciate you.
Hey, man, it's thank you for basically picking up the phone and accepting the offer and or the invitation to be interviewed on the podcast today. So once again, we're gonna get
Indeed,
in.
thank you.
We're gonna get into it. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna pay some bills when we come back. We're gonna get into the interview with Radio Raheem, and
Yeah.
that name strikes something from a movie, famous movie. But we're going to see how he got named Radio Raheem as his title. All right, so we right here, Soul Session Sundays with DJ Baby Choc. Let's talk on Power 104.9. All right, y'all. We back. We back. We back. We are back. We paid them bills. We paid them bills, and we are back. Today's guest, Radio Raheem, on Let's Talk podcast with your boy DJ Baby Choc right here on Soul Session Sundays on Power 104.9. All right, Rob, man, let's get into it. Let's get into it. I like to always start my interviews by let's begin in your early years around the high school time, because I feel like that's where things start to basically be planted or it might have been planned earlier than that, but I like to start around that time. So let's talk about it,
Okay.
man. What was you doing in high school?
Well, in high school, I've always been drawn to like the arts and stuff. But when I got to high school, I didn't have as much performance opportunities, like being in plays and stuff
Hmm.
or whatever. And cassettes were very, prevalent in what was going on. CDs hadn't sparked yet. It was records, it was cassettes.
Mm.
And I used to buy cassettes, like ask my mom and stuff, and get people, different hip hop albums, R&B albums, and I would double on cassette and sell them at school for a fraction
Mm.
of the cost. So like, I sell the album to you on a dub cassette for like $2
Mm. Okay.
or whatever, and that's what I started doing. At the same time, ever since I was little, I always had records, and would buy vinyl records, and steal from my uncles and different people. And I had a mismatch set of DJ equipment, a Gemini turntable, and a
Hmm.
Technique turntable that like none of it matched. Like how we do.
uh,
And I started doing like hip hop mixtapes with the vinyl that I would get from the record store, and sometimes steal from them too, like on Juice, and
okay.
get different stuff or whatever, and just create a compilation and like mixtapes and sell at school.
Right.
And then those days, my name was DJ Sess,
DJ
like
says.
Sesamania.
Okay.
Yeah, and the tapes were pretty good. I've even like as an adult, I've met different classmates that talked about some of those tapes and told me they still have them,
Mm.
even when I don't even have them.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
it was like always being into music, and just like that high school time was the introduction into moving further of just liking music and being into music. So it's
Oh,
like I was selling stuff from a DJ's perspective and yada yada yada, and then I, decided that I wanted to rap, quote unquote, and then that funneled me into like talent shows and going places with different people that was related to different people. Like for example, when I was like 19, 20, from an artist standpoint, I used to be at Def Jam and MTV and things of that nature.
oh, you was there.
So yeah, like
Okay.
just on some kiddie stuff. Oh, you can bring your friend. Like one of my friends, his cousin is Shy Money XL, who does production for 50 Cent.
Mm.
His brother was an executive that like switched jobs every 6 months. So
Mm.
that allowed us to go to a lot of different things. Like you'll get invited to the MTV picnic.
Oh,
You'll be
okay.
at this,
Okay.
different events. Like for example, if I'm rambling, you tell me. Um, I've been to the first Source Awards. I've been to the first Summer Jam,
Okay.
like ever,
So was
and it's
this
due to the connections.
so
Hmm.
was this when you was in high school, or that came later
Yes,
on?
all it. No, like the first Source Awards and probably the first Summer Jam. I'm a senior in high school,
Okay.
probably about to graduate.
Okay.
My sister used to work for Kiss FM,
Mm.
which put me in a lot of different spots as well. She was a communication major when she was younger, even though she's 7 years older than me.
Okay.
Um, she knows Red Alert, this one, that one. But being that she worked there, she used to get tickets for a lot of stuff,
Right.
for a lot of events and stuff. And that's how I used to be able to like say, oh, I went to the first Source Awards. I've been to the first Summer Jam. Like
Mm. Okay.
like a couple iconic things. And when I
Right.
was younger, I used to go to a lot of shows. Some shows I might have known someone from security,
Right.
and they're just call and say, "Yo, come to Symphony Hall and meet me such and such, and I'm gonna bring you in." And I might start off backstage, and then I end up in the audience.
Okay. Okay. So I guess you was around music from an early age then. Just
Yes,
okay. Because when you mention Kiss FM, that's classic '80s
yeah,
radio
definitely.
station.
Yes, definitely with Red Alert,
Mm.
the Violators,
Violators, yeah.
like the beginning of like I want to say hip hop, because
Mm-hmm.
like I started listening to them in the '80s.
Right.
My sister graduated in 1988 from high school
Mm-hmm.
and immediately went to college, so all of that stuff started. It started right there.
Okay. Cool. 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 All right. So, man, this that was a nice little hands-on experience for you at a young age like that, being at the first Source
Very much so.
Awards, being at the
Yeah.
first summer jams. Um, so you are blessed to be in these um, events and places. Uh, what was it that actually wanted you to really become an artist at this point? Was it someone that you saw, firsthand, or was that already in you that that was something that you wanted to do?
Well, like '86 or '87, playing with music. I'm West Indian, so
Mm,
it's like all music.
mm-hmm,
And those days, those days and those generations, the like music was just music.
mm-hmm.
It wasn't a such thing as it's white people music or it's black people music or it was just music. If you was good, everything was listened to.
Right.
So I was well rounded in all music, and then I'm coming up, and hip hop is just coming up all at the same time.
Mm,
So it's like I'm falling into it. I remember hearing Planet Rock. I remember hearing The Message,
mm,
which those are inspirational.
right.
But it had to be like '86, '87. Eric B. and Rakim comes out,
Mm,
and I like them. I know you. Soul for me was a big record.
right.
The production, his cadence and lyrics, or whatever. So like they would play it on the radio, and I would tape it on cassette,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went back and paused it, and I wrote the lyrics down. Like
Oh,
just learned it and wrote the lyrics down.
okay.
And I would say that was the first point of wanting to become an artist, but still being kind of like scared and not making my own material.
Mm,
The same time of being in high school and, pushing music on people and DJing and doing little parties and stuff like that. Listening to hip hop, for lack of better words, I'm going to say I felt like it was easy or that I can do it too,
right.
you know? And as I went along, those instances of being at the Source Awards, God rest his soul, Old Dirty Bastard, Unique A song from the Wu-Tang Clan, knowing him personally and
Okay.
like being with these people here and there and seeing that they were regular people,
Mm-hmm.
that's what inspired me to become an artist
An
because it was
artist.
like, okay, I can write lyrics. I already sing calypso in front of my grandmother and make up my own lyrics. And I just put everything together. And I knew music from being in music from the records.
Mm,
And then all hip hop is the reimagination of music, or at least that's what it's supposed to be, of music that came previous to. That's why it's built off of sampling, which we're straying away from today, but that's what it's really for.
right.
To take 30 years ago, 20 years ago, and make it new again.
Right. Right. All right. So what we're gonna do?
Like that's what inspired me.
Okay. So what we're gonna do right now? We're gonna pay some bills, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna dive into you really DJing, because I in this earlier you was saying that you would sell the tapes. And you mentioned DJ, but you really didn't mention DJing to the extent of getting deep into it, as far as
Definitely.
the rapper DJ, quote unquote. All right, so today's
Okay.
guest, Radio Raheem. Let's Talk is the name of the podcast with DJ Baby Choc, who is the host right here on Soul Session Sundays on Power 104.9. All right, y'all, we back, we are back. Soul Session Sundays Power 104.9. Let's talk. DJ Baby Choc hosts today's guest, Radio Raheem. All right, Ross. So
Yeah.
we talked about um, high school. You was blessed to be in a lot of places, due to your sister and people that you knew, where, you was at some of the first and historical events, first Source Awards, first Summer Jam, meeting people backstage and then going into the audience, knowing ODB personally.
Indeed.
Then listening to the radio, Kiss FM back in the 80s, and one of the records that came out, Eric B. and Rakim, I Got Soul, hit you because you recorded it and you paused it and you wrote down the rhymes and you memorized it, which basically helped you along with becoming an artist, a performer. But let's dive into the DJing now.
Sure.
Because, like I said, my first introduction to you was looking at your YouTube video, one of them, and you was doing it with 45s.
Yeah.
So let's dive into that. Because some people don't, they don't like to dib and dab in that. If you're gonna be an artist, you're gonna be an artist. But you was into both.
Yeah, well, I would say that the records catapulted me into that because even though I'm coming up at the same time as hip hop, I'm listening to, everything, disco, Isley Brothers, and it always seemed fun, and like you're little, you're going to church. I used to be in the choir, I went to Seventh-day Adventist school and private school, and I was always into those type of things. I love my 45s. The 45s come in from being when I was little, and music started to transition into the cassette, and then because of course 8-track is before cassette, but 8-track was more like cars when I was coming up.
Right.
So you would see those in cars. People had tape decks in their house. People had little sets in their house. When it started going to tape decks and even CD players and stuff, they started to neglect their records. A lot of people, they didn't want to deal with the 45, they didn't want them no more and stuff. So like I'm little and I'm getting crates of records, building a collection. Then I'm begging for you to buy me records and stuff. So I'm little coming in, whatever. Then we get into high school, I start buying more records along with the tapes and things of that nature. I had a mismatched set where we had parties like in my building, and anything that my mother would let me do, they would let me do the music because I played what even the older people wanted to hear because I had it.
Right.
And somehow I knew I knew how it was supposed to be played. Somehow, I don't know. Somehow, and as I'm coming into a teen, in Caribbean culture, you're allowed to do, like, even though it's very strict, you're allowed to immerse in the culture, meaning I'm up at 3 a.m. at a party. You understand what I'm saying? Like where other kids would have been home or had to be asleep or whatever. I'm in a party, my parents probably there or my uncles, somebody's there. Right. I'm drawn to the lights of the equipment. So being drawn to the lights of the equipment means I hang around the DJ and stand around the booth and things of that nature. And that's how I began to learn, a playing style and a cadence of play and using what I had.
Okay.
So when I started duplicating albums that I brought on cassette and making money from that, and then I started going to the same events that we were talking about, sometimes back in those days, you would meet big DJs at those events and they would give you promotional vinyl.
Okay.
So that's how I started making like mixes on vinyl, hip hop mixes, and selling them in school, because then I realized that even though I buy records, I have certain stuff that even the local DJs don't have. because
Mm.
I've gotten them from certain events,
Okay.
certain artists, certain compilations. Because I know you know, back in those days, sometimes you would get a promotional white label with
Right.
3 or 4 hot songs
On the one.
on yeah, and they
Yeah.
might not even have nothing to do with each other.
Right. Right.
It might be a house joint with a techno joint with a hip hop joint with you know what I mean? And I
Mm-hmm.
had stuff like that. Once I
Mm-hmm.
realized that I had something that no one else kind of had, and not no one else, but locally, where I could have an exclusive track or two on my tape, that's where the light bulb went off to, oh, I can do what Spin Bad do, or I can do what Backspin do, or Ron G, or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
where it came from. Watching them, watching everything else, and then realizing, yeah, I have an exclusive on here. I can
Right.
take this acapella and put a different beat and make my own mix, like Grandmaster Vic or some of the other greats and things of that nature. And that's how the catalyst of selling mixtapes for me locally, came about at the same time of, crooning and honing, trying to be an artist all at the same time.
Was there a specific DJ that you really study?
Um, Commercially, watching everything, my favorite DJ to watch, because like I'm still more immersed probably in hip hop, was like Jam Master Jay.
Mm.
I always liked the way he, his synchronized, the way he dropped with Run DMC. It was very synchronized. It takes a lot of discipline to be like that on vinyl. So I always admired him. And of course, like DJ Cash Money from Philly and stuff like that, because those days I was into the DMC battles and
Okay.
watching them and stuff like that. And my style of play is a combination of all those type of things, because also too, like back to being in Caribbean parties and stuff, I used to roll with dance hall sounds, if
Mm.
you know what I'm talking about. Like,
Explain to the people.
okay, so a dance hall sound is like every sound has a name, and you play music and you make what they call dub plates from reggae artists and soca artists that's
Mm-hmm.
currently out. And it's just like they make a promo for your sound.
Okay.
And your sound is basically based on your equipment and your speakers and not cutting off during the competition.
Mm.
And it's like two sounds battle. So
Okay.
for example, one sound I would say Stone Love. And let's say Stone Love was playing Stone Love versus Black Cat. And they just clash and play reggae music back and forth, but it's almost like the music speaks for you. And in dance hall, the DJ is actually the MC, and the DJ, what would be the DJ, is actually called the selector. So
Right.
hanging
Okay.
around those guys and carrying records and dub plates for them, and then watching them play, I incorporated that into my style of play, because they do a lot of needle dropping, they do a lot of pulling up and starting from the beginning, in a synchronized type time. So my style would be kind of like that, and hip hop, and a lot of other stuff, just mixed all into one.
Interesting. Interesting. Um. Okay. So let's speed it up because we're coming to the end of this session. But I
Sure.
want to get your thoughts on DJing now in this era with the controllers and everything like that. What are your thoughts?
Well, with the controllers, I love it, because to me, it has made it very, what I would consider, easier, right?
Hmm.
I think it's an opportunity to have more and new DJs, because most of the young people I know that have controllers, they do well with it, but then they want to get back into records too.
Mm.
So I like that, because then it makes everything live together. You know what I mean? And I've DJ'd on controllers. Like I said, to me, it's made it easier. And when you come from where we come from, of records and all that equipment, you kind of could manhandle the controller. and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it because it's not as hard as the analog thing that I do. Even something as simple as a mix, you can watch the mix opposed to hearing the mix,
Right.
which is what we used to do. We would have to hear the mix and cue it a certain way or whatever. Here, you could just jump on. You got your pad, so you could trigger a certain part and stuff. So it made it easier,
Right.
and it's still fun. At first, I thought that it would make the other stuff, the older stuff, obsolete. But like I said, what I'm noticing is the young people still want to grasp back and know the other stuff too, which is cool because if you know that stuff, it improves you on your controller. Because all the DJs, to me, that move from vinyl to the controller, they are manhandling the controllers because of the knowledge of coming from analog.
Yeah.
You don't need as much as you need it.
Yeah. It took me a long time to come over, even from the vinyls to the CDs, and then the CDs to the computer. It took me a long time. It took me a long time, but I finally got there. All right, we're gonna pay some bills, man. Hear a couple of tracks, and when we come back, we're gonna get into you engineering. All right.
Okay, sure.
We're gonna get into your
Thank you,
engineering
sure.
right here. Soul Session Sundays. It's your boy DJ Baby Choc. The name of the podcast is Let's Talk. Today's guest, Radio Raheem. And Rob, we're going to get into that too. I wanna get into how you got, how that name came
The
about.
name?
From
Sure,
your earlier name was DJ C's, right? Cess.
Seth. Yeah, all right, no doubt.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So,
104.9, yes.
we be right back. All right, y'all. We are back. Today's guest, Radio Raheem, on the Let's Talk podcast, hosted by your boy DJ Baby Choc. Soul Session Sundays on 104 Power 104.9. All right, Ra. Let's before we get into the engineering, let's get into the name change.
Okay.
Now, how did that come about?
Well, it came about as an artist. I go by the name Murdoch Body Rock, right?
Okay.
So that one I came up with when I used to be with the old dirty bastard. He came to Newark one time. They surprised me and got me out of school early to go meet him in Newark in the South Ward, Skyland Shepherd Avenue. And he had another group with him named Killer Army. So anyway, he called somebody from Killer Army. His name was Murdoch. And it just rang because at the same time I was writing lyrics. And I said to him, I like that name. I said, and Murdoch's in a group. I'm a solo artist. And old dirty bastard told me, he said, man, you could use it. He said, just put something with it, so you could stand out or whatever. So that's when I started calling myself Murdoch Body Rock. The name Radio Raheem is from the selling tapes, because I still did that and dub CDs later on and stuff too. And coming out of high school, I used to always carry a box. Like to this day, I stay with music on me. I carry Bluetooth speakers now.
Right.
And like strangers, I was somewhere and strangers was like, there you go. That's what I was telling y'all about. And somebody was like, oh, you talk about Radio Raheem? Yeah, I know him. He always come through, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Because I always had the little Sony radio playing what was out at the time, whatever cassette, whether it was Lost Boys, Fugees, whatever. And they named me Radio Raheem from Do the Right Thing because I always had music. I always played music. And that's how I got that.
Okay. Did your batteries ever run out?
Nah. These. Nah, they never ran out. I always made sure I was all right. And if I ran too long of a time, I always had like some extras on me or money on me to go. You know what I mean? Like I never like just conked out. I never just conked out.
Okay.
I always had it. And then now it's Bluetooth, so all I gotta do is charge up.
Just charge up. Yeah, that was a iconic scene in the movie Do the Right Thing, y'all. If y'all haven't seen it, I don't know where y'all been, but When Radio
Yeah.
Raheem batteries had was just given, just almost gone. He went to the store to buy some more batteries. Y'all gotta see it. Y'all gotta see it. All right, so Radio Raheem was basically, that was even younger than they was calling you that.
Yeah, yeah. But like by the time I came out of high school, I'm transitioning to rap. So you don't get to keep your rap name until you beat a couple battles and a couple ciphers and stuff. So
Right.
that's how that name ended up getting the stick, Murdoch Body Rock. But the streets itself named me Radio Raheem because of the constant radio with music. Like I'm talking about being places and gangsters want to roll on me, brother.
Wow.
And somebody I don't even know be like, nah, you ain't doing nothing to radio out here.
Well
Because like,
protected. He was well
yeah,
protected.
music comes to savage beast, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Oh
so like
man.
it was just, amazing that they actually named me that, and then it stuck. It
Right.
stuck
Right.
because like people that we didn't even know each other on that level, that's how we greeted each other, even though it was just in passing.
Mm. Okay. So the name was just traveled around wherever you
Yeah,
were. Cool. All right. So let's jump into this engineering. Now you are, you know a rapper, performer,
yeah.
DJ.
Well,
Go ahead.
at first when I first started, like making compilations or making music or whatever, I would go to the studio
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed that they didn't want to teach you.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I developed a style of looking over your shoulder
Mm.
and
Okay.
asking you to do something and then seeing what you're doing. And then that's when I learned how to, do it for myself by trial and error. Um, it's a group not really known or whatever. It's a group called Faceless Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm not in the group, I used to go to the studio with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Jersey, New York group, and they're probably still more known like in Cali, from in the 90s. One of my cousins was in the group. And we used to go to big studios in New York. I still, to this day, I don't know where I was at. All I know is that one studio was big, like the bridge on the old Star Trek,
Mm.
with like a booth where you could fit probably about 40 people in the booth.
Wow.
Um, you sat at a console in front of it that looked at like pilot chairs, like it was raw. So
Uh,
that was Studio A. Then they had like a little side studio, a little makeshift room. That was Studio B, and that's where we usually work in Studio B, creating. And when we were in Studio B, I would do the recording and the engineering work, and that's how I learned how to do it for myself. One night we were in Studio B,
mm-hmm.
and I didn't get to go to A that night, but Grace Jones was in A.
Oh.
Yeah, because like if we couldn't go into A and had to be in B, that's because they were using A. And it was
Okay.
like a lot of famous people would be in A at the
Be in
time.
there.
Sometimes they just wouldn't tell you. Yeah.
Okay. Did you see anybody
But
like,
that's
just let's say
um
going to the bathroom or something like
no,
that, just on the fly?
just be somebody like when somebody would come and tell us that we can't go into A
Uh huh.
and they put us in B, they would just say, "Oh, such and such is here."
Oh, okay. So you
You know
didn't
what I
you didn't
mean?
see
That was
them
about it.
physically.
No.
Okay. But you
No.
was in the building with them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It appears so. Because like at the time when you're going through these things, it almost seems like nothing to you. Like just talking to you, I'm getting chills.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because like I must have took it for granted. Like it wasn't really nothing when I was going through it, but as I survived other older and stuff,
Right.
like it's big stuff to me now.
Yeah. Something that's it can't be taken from you because you was there. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
You was
Yeah.
there. So. Um.
But
It.
that's how I learned how to engineer, and then now it's switched to computers. So, you can watch tutorials and stuff like that or whatever. Because I have a program that I use because I record in the house. Like I have a whole dedicated to, the records and turntables and recording equipment and different nostalgia and things of that nature.
Now, what is your feelings on the difference from uh, the old way of engineering compared to today? Because you just said you do the computers.
Well, the only difference that I noticed from, like I said, being at them studios back in the day and doing on a computer now, computer and this digital age that we in, and that's why I play records, it's too clear.
Too clear.
It's too clear.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, when you was recording, like, let's just say hip hop again, for example. You recording hip hop back in the day, you had the reel, you had that, you had things of that nature. It recorded a more grittier sound.
Mm. Okay.
Digital now is too clean, it's too clear.
Mm.
If you play one song digitally at the same settings that I played the vinyl on, it's gonna still, bass is gonna knock different.
Mm.
Your bass is gonna knock, but it's gonna be clear. My bass is gonna be an analog rumbling bass.
Mm.
Your bass is gonna be sharper, more pinpointed.
Now, do you think that's what
And
they was going for? Because I mean, it should be when you're using a computer, there should be various ways of making the track sound gritty. Let's say.
It is. It is. You can do different things and use different, programs and stuff to graft it
Hmm.
a certain way. However, the whole point to me is that um, either way is not wrong, but those are the differences.
Mm.
You're going to get raw and gritty with analog equipment. You're
Hmm.
going to get clean and clear with digital equipment. And if you're looking for raw and gritty, you got to graft it back. That's all.
Okay.
You got to graft. Like, CD sounds completely different than vinyl. And even though it's the same song, like, for example, yesterday I was listening to Sam Cooke live at the Whiskey A Go Go.
Hmm.
It sounded like Sam Cooke was in the house with me.
Mm.
If I was listening to that same composition on CD, it wouldn't have had the same effect.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
That's just the simple difference in between the two. And like I said, not to say that one is better than the other, but this is one of the main reasons why people are rediscovering, because like I know people that have cassette collections and stuff like that or whatever. That's the reason why they're going back. It's the same thing, but it just sounds different.
Okay. So they're looking for that gritty sound.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Any engineers that you study, that you look up to?
Well, no. Most of the DJs and stuff that I as well.
Hmm.
So like it's like I look up to them and I look up to them and admire them and things of that nature. The only thing that I would be looking for, like I'm working on a production right now, a hip hop production. But the only thing I would be looking for in an engineer, because it's two different things. You have engineers and then you have mastering engineers. And I'm looking for a master engineer to study, because to me they're like the highest height of it.
Okay.
Because a master engineer is going to, no matter how I mix it, they're still going to give me a better mix.
So different levels then.
Yeah, a master engineer is like when you want that finished product.
Okay.
I can master it, then I can send it to you and let you master it again. But a mastering engineer, by the time we get it to him, it's going to sound excruciatingly dope, because these people, their ear, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, their ear is just trained beyond. So their ears are trained for like frequency then,
Right.
Like not just bare sound, but like frequency and sound and merging frequencies and stuff of that nature. And also even with that, you don't even have to have a person for that anymore because they have programs that you funnel a product through and they balance and master it for you.
So would you prefer that to be done by the human ear or the program?
Well, at this point, and due to finances, probably would go with the computer,
Mm-hmm.
because you do get a very, very good mix, fraction of the cost. It's just a mastering engineer, it would be more personalized,
Right.
because they'll take each track and dissect them separately and, create a sound for you and, use different effects and things in a certain manner. It wouldn't just be run of the mill. With the computer, they're just giving you a better version of what you put in, even if you did put in a good version.
Cool.
And it sounds like it's the same thing, but I don't know. Humans, sometimes we can do a little something better than a machine.
And on that note, we're going to take a break. Pay some bills. When we come back, we're going to talk about you being the producer. All right. So we done went from
Yes, sir.
DJ, artist, engineer, and we're going to talk about you being a producer. And also, you're going to give your info of where you can be found at, how you can be found, reached out to, everything. All right. So, right here, Soul Session Sundays with DJ Baby Choc. Let's Talk is the podcast every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Power 104.9 WTSX FM. All right, y'all, we back. We are back. Today's guest, Radio Raheem, aka Murdoch Body Rock. Right here on Soul Session Sundays with your boy DJ Baby Choc on the podcast label Let's Talk. All right, so let's jump into your producing. Um, how do you like that? Like, do you like producing? Like,
Well,
really getting into it.
Producing is fun. For the main fact of the matter that people get producing and beat making confused. They think it's the same thing, but it's not. If I'm gonna make a beat for you, I make a beat and I give you the beat and you go do whatever you're gonna do. If I'm producing, I may make the beat, but I gotta ride it all the way out with you.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? So like whatever the material is, if it's a song with singing, or if it's hip hop, it's rapping, or whatever, I gotta help you all the way through that. And I think that that's what makes it fun, especially when I'm not producing for myself. At the same time of DJing back in the day, I was in a group called LSPD. It was called Life. The name of the group was called Life Sentence. It was me, two gentlemen, and a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to do the production for our stuff with like beat machines and, different keyboards and things of that nature. From that time, I enjoyed it because I enjoy producing for others more than myself.
Right.
Most of the time when I record and do, my rap thing or my hip hop thing or whatever, a lot of times I do a production that's probably based off of sampling, add a couple drums here or there or whatever. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it because then it's like you're building something, if you're saying.
Right.
So even though I'm doing the lyrics, I have to do that a certain way or whatever, but in the production sense, be cut a certain way to go there. And then when I place the lyrics with it, the way I would edit that and stuff like that, I really do enjoy it. And I haven't done enough to get like production credits on, anyone's project, but there have been projects that people were doing that I was around for and gave, input on. It may have moved a knob or two as well. It's just that with all these different hats that I wear, I never like sat, I never sat one place.
Right.
I never sat one place. So I wouldn't be a known for just because I didn't put in the kind of work that I should have put in from that level. I only didn't put in that kind of work because I just love the art. So I do, a little bit of everything and was content doing that.
Have you who would you like to do some production for or with?
Well, I would like to do, at this point, I don't really have, because like music is turned a certain way. I'm, kind of like old school. So I would like to work with certain producers more than I would like to work for certain artists. You understand what I'm saying? So like I'm more of I would work with this guy type of thing. It's gonna sound funny, but to this day, even from when I was younger, and it's funny because they don't really even do hip hop, but I always wanted to work with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Oh, really?
For some reason. Yeah, because like to me, you have some guys that come into a style of production that already exists, and then you have some producers that create a style.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? And guys like them and Teddy Riley and a few others, they created a style.
Right.
Because like him, Jimmy Jam and them, and that's all that New Jack Swing and that style of R&B that was out in the mid '80s and stuff like that, or whatever. Like that's their signature sound. So like I always wanted to work with them. So I still would say them, even if I only got one song out of them or whatever. And then also I would have liked to work with DJ Premier. And just to see his process of making beats from being a DJ to being a number one hip hop producer.
Right.
You know.
Heavy hitters. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and DJ Premier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What are where do you see this whole thing with you going in the next 5 years? Either as an engineer, go down the line as an engineer, producer, DJ, and artist. Where do you see yourself in 5 years with those titles?
Well, in 5 years, I would like to have a prominent, YouTube page with all the mixes and fixings and a few stories and stuff like that. As far as it goes overall, I'm always going to do what I do. The only difference is I do it I always did it for the love then, but younger, it was like, do it for the love and try to make a couple dollars. Now, it's just do it for the love.
Okay.
So it's like I have a hip hop project I'm working on. I'm gonna release a certain kind of way, but that's all it really is. You know what I mean? Like it's not trying to go international or nothing. Wherever it goes, it goes. That's it. Right now, I'm more about my DJing, production, and the engineering of my own work, and selling my records. That's about it.
Now you said selling
because selling my records because even though I play vinyl records, I sell I sell vinyl records as well.
Okay.
Which was started by getting because I've always been lucky to I've moved into an apartment before and found 2 crates of records in the closet.
Oh.
And then in the last couple my friend, he owns it, and he would give me one time on 2 different occasions he gave me about 400 records, $20.
$20?
So I go to him, $20 because no one know what to. They don't, they like I said, they neglect it.
Yeah.
So wherever he gets the stuff from, it was 2 big long bins.
Right.
So he brought me in, and as soon as I looked at it, I knew I had some good stuff because I had stuff in there that I already had.
Right.
So I said, Dre, how much you want? He said, man, just give me $20 now. I said, $20? He was like, yeah, give me $20. So I gave him 20.
Right.
A couple months later, he did the same thing again. He wanted 20, but I gave him 40 the next time.
Right.
Because I had already figured out that any duplicates that I had, I could sell them.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you.
And that's how I started, because I had thousands of records already, adding on and stuff, and that's what made me get to it and collect or whatever. So once I realized I could sell it, I sell records on Facebook Marketplace. I sell records on eBay.
Right. Okay. I got you.
You know, and I do pretty well as far as, you know, my stuff sells. I have 100% rating. I'm not very expensive because records are expensive now.
Yeah, they are.
You know, because there'll never be another one, you know.
Right.
I appraise all my records myself through, they have this thing called Discogs that, you know, archives all music ever put out into the system. That number on it, that's what it goes by. Go on Discogs, you can find tapes, you can find the albums, you can find the CDs. It tells you how much they're worth, how much they last sold for, because like a lot of stuff is overseas.
Okay.
And if there wasn't a bunch of copies pressed, that's what makes the record expensive.
Okay.
So like we started talking about the 45s. I love my 45s because 45s, that's how you get the hip hop, and that's how you keep even all that old music together, because that's what it was on. It was on those things, on 45s, which was a single on one side, a single on the other side.
Mm.
And you find so much stuff just listening to old 45, and you put the needle on it and you say, oh, shucks, Chub Rock used that.
Right.
Or Marley Marl sampled that.
Right.
Or Mary J. Blige, you know what I mean? And like, it's the original song, but you can actually hear the elements of where the newer versions of stuff come from. So I thought that was dope. So I do a lot with 45 or whatever. And like I said, I like all kind of music, and I have all types, and I sell all types of records, even classical and show records.
Okay. Coming down to the wire, man. What advice would you give this generation as far as, you know, going after what they want, you know?
I would tell this generation that as much as they think that that the way we live and how we're coming into this digital age, you know, is like normal, still learn everything. Learn before the digital age. Go back and play with analog cameras opposed to like your camera from your phone. Out some film. Like, just have the knowledge of what we used to do as we go forward to do something else. And that's it. And have fun, and no matter what you do.
Cool, man. Give them your contact information where they can reach you, find you at.
Okay, I'm on YouTube, radio at Crate Diggers Cartel, Radio Raheem of Crate Diggers Cartel. So you can go on YouTube / Crate Diggers Cartel. Cartel is spelled with a K. I'm on Instagram as Sick Mike Audio, SickMicAudio. And I'm on Facebook as Commerce Radio, COMESS Radio, Commerce Radio. And that's it. I want to thank Chuck for having me on, and thank Power 104.9 for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I love what you guys do.
Anytime, man. Thank you, and thank you for accepting the request for you to be interviewed by us, by me, by myself. Once again, y'all, we done came down to the wire. Another great interview, Radio Raheem. We learned more about him as far as everything that's going on in his life. Oh, I forgot. You got any up and coming events, or you told us about the project, but events that you might be doing or in the future?
Nah, I don't have anything besides being on Chalk's radio. That's about it. So I look out for me on Chalk Radio. Coming soon.
Cool, cool. All right, y'all. That's another one down the drain. We did it. We did it. We did it. Soul Session Sundays. Come on every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Power 104.9 WTSX FM with your boy Baby Choc. Let's Talk is the name of the podcast. You also know you can catch me Wednesday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I'm on the ones and twos, and I'm probably going to have some guest DJs on in some of the slots. So be on the lookout for that. Once again, Rod, thanks again. And when you got, finish that project, hit me up, send it to me. We get it on. All right.
Nah, no doubt. Thank you for having me. Power 104.9. Thanks a lot.
All right, bro. Until the next time, we are out. Gone.
What?